our rolling start, as per usual. Gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. How are we feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little tired, but that's okay.
How about you, Jake?
Life is good. Life is good, man.
Good deal. Good deal. So I know that we kind of have like a variety episode more or less planned for today. We're just going to kind of go back and forth. I know we had some like preconceived notions of, we just did all of the best films in the MCU, our top fives. Maybe we could, maybe not necessarily do a top five worst films or bottom five, however you want to kind of view it.
Yeah, I did mine like my least favorite three. Is
Yeah.
how I kind of prepared.
So
for this.
we'll probably touch on that a bit. Now, I like Colin's idea from last time, so this should surprise no one. The lowest ranking film in the MCU currently is not the Eternals, but it is Morbius.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me one bit.
I never saw it.
I never saw it either, but I definitely heard bad reviews for it.
Did you watch it, Kenny?
I did. Now, you all know that the internet basically trolled Marvel into re-releasing that film.
I did not know that.
So what happened is they released it into theaters the first time, right? And it did awful. Like easily the worst that Marvel has ever had.
What made it so bad? I mean, like, I know you're the only one that's seen it, but
The storyline was all over the place. Pacing was kind of odd. Most people don't know who Morbius is. He's not really a popular character. It's like he's the other Marvel vampire, but most people know who Blade is.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on Blade on a previous podcast.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody knows who Blade is by now. You know?
Mm-hmm. So the internet made a big commotion saying it's like, oh, hey, we were just busy that weekend. If you all re-release it, we'll definitely go and see it again. So they re-released it, spent umpteen more millions dollars getting marketing done to re-release it in theaters, and it did even worse.
Hold on. When was it released the first time?
First release, I think I had this pulled up.
Because my question is,
Last year.
so
When exactly last year? I don't remember.
So it's kind of towards the end of the pandemic, I guess.
Yes.
I wonder if that
Mom-
would have been a factor. Most people weren't really trying to go out at that point.
True. That probably definitely played the biggest factor.
Or maybe
Do
I
it.
just pulled that out of my butt.
Well, it's March 10th and then April 1st, funny enough.
April Fool's Day. Anyway, yeah, if it comes like on Disney Plus or something,
I think it's already there.
I'll give it a watch. Just add it to my list of things to watch.
I'll watch it too. Yeah.
That
Add
list
it to the
is
ever-increasing
surprisingly
number.
long, however.
See if it's actually as crappy as people say it is.
Well, I would be interested to see, Jake, how you compare it to the Eternals film.
Oh, I hated the Eternals. So that's a
Right.
pretty low bar.
I mean, these are low bars that have been set.
I would be shocked if it's worse than the Eternals.
Yeah,
But anything's possible.
anything is possible.
I was convinced over the weekend to give it another try because I didn't actually watch it all the way through. I probably made
Which one? The Eternals?
Yeah, the Eternals. I never watched it all the way through. I probably made it a quarter of the way, if that. I was just like,
Hey, I
this
finished
is-
it.
This is garbage. But I was convinced to rewatch it, and so I'm gonna do that in my spare time, and then I'll tell you all how I really, really feel.
Well, can we talk about the Eternals at least?
Yeah, sure.
You've
I mean,
seen it,
we
right,
were-
Kenny?
I had. So that was going to be something that I kind of.
You can talk about it. I don't care about spoilers at this point. you
Yeah.
know? Like, it won't bother me. I know that there's some giant figure, statue, something that comes out, and at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the Celestial.
Yeah, and I just, you know, we were talking about that this past weekend when I was at work, and a coworker of mine made a very good point. If something that big comes out of the ocean, that water displacement, that's gonna like flood.
That's going to flood like every coastline.
Probably an entire Australia is done,
Like
dude. That continent is gone.
Yeah,
New York
like
City's
the
gone.
the one big mesa is probably going to be fine, but
Once again, the rule is you don't want to live in New York City.
you know, don't live in New York City. It is cursed and Marvel. So
No, so my beef with Eternals is the movie was just absolutely all over the place. They
Right.
crammed so much material into one film, and people have probably read this or heard it other places, but Disney would have been much better off making that a series, a Disney Plus series.
probably.
And I'm not for sure why they opted not to do that. I guess maybe they got greedy and
I don't think they had faith in their own script at the end of the day.
well, that's the thing is like the script wasn't even that good. The plot, I didn't care for it that much either. I didn't care for the casting. Like it's not personal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I necessarily disliked all the actors or actresses. It was a hosh bosh group of people, and it just
And they
did
gave you
not sit
no
well.
they gave
for
you
me.
no reason to care for any of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, speaking, let's jump onto that. So, what did they really give any character development? Like, when you all were watching it, did you all actually kind of start to get an investment in any of the characters, or it was just like all over the place, like you said, and you couldn't really get attached to anybody?
It was all over the place. I mean, they crammed like I don't know. Can you remember? It was like 1,000 years worth of backstory.
Yeah, so basically the Eternals as like a concept, like they are people like put in charge by like the Celestials that they have, you know, longer lifespans. They're not immortal. Well, they don't die by aging. They still can die if they get like stabbed or like eaten or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't age, right? And they have a hodgepodge of other powers. But the issue is even in like this span of time, they don't spend enough screen time making any of these characters actually likable.
Yeah, it's just they try to cover way too much, and there's so many of them that they were screwed from the beginning. Like
Kinda.
they set themselves up for failure.
I find it weird, right? Because they have done like ensemble casts before, right? They've done the Guardians of the Galaxies, you know, one of our collective favorite films.
Yeah.
They've done the
That's true.
Avengers where they're not really friends, but they work together and then they become friends.
They're coworkers, you know.
They're co-workers.
Like Thor says about Hulk.
Yep.
Yeah, you make a good point, Kenny. I'm not for sure why they were so successful with Guardians, but not
Guardians
Eternals.
has comedy. Eternals does not.
Yeah. They try. They fit. I agree with you there. On that they failed on that front too. The comedic like relief on the Eternals films. I don't know. It was a disappointment. I'm
Yeah.
okay with never watching that movie ever again in my life.
But you know what's funny though? The Eternals is actually rated higher than I think a lot of people would give it credit for. So we did mention that Morbius was at a 5.2 on IMDb. Eternals is like a 6.3.
You know, don't know what to say.
Yes.
That's still not impressive to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what also probably doesn't... Well, this might actually surprise... So this will actually surprise a few people. It is not their lowest grossing MCU film.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean much for me. Because I feel like people will get suckered into going to the theaters
Oh, sure.
just for the block. But like Jurassic Park is a perfect example of that. Like they're not the best movies, but like people are gonna go. Like you
Yeah.
have to go see it.
Well, people read that book.
And I'm not even talking about the original. I'm talking about like the more recent.
Oh, the more
what
recent
was like
stuff.
Oh,
World
God.
Dominion. You know, it's kind of along that line. Like Eternals was along that line. Like, yeah, it's made a bunch of money, but was the product any good?
Right.
No, I don't. My
Well-
answer to that is no. It wasn't.
All right, hold on. I want
Okay.
to throw
Go
Jake.
ahead.
I want to throw Jake.
I got a comment, but go ahead.
I want to ask Jake a question just to see how bad it really is.
Oh God.
Which was worse, the Eternals or the most recent Jurassic Park film, Dominion or whatever?
Eternals.
Eternals was worse.
Yeah. For me, I like Jurassic Park, but I could see why people would bash the most recent. Is it World Dominion? Is that the?
Yeah, whatever Dominion.
I think so.
That movie was terrible.
Dominion Extinction or something. I don't. Whatever. I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my follow-up comment to all of that is it made a decent amount of money, and I think the reason why you have like Endgame and whatnot earning a lot of money is that it is the culmination of an entire series as opposed to it just being like its own like film, right?
Yeah.
So just by it being the end of the story, more people are going to go see it just because it's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's like, it has XYZ character in it. It's just that it's a finality.
Yeah.
So you got to go watch it.
It should have been a series. At the end of the day, it should have been a Disney Plus series. I will say, I am like, and I don't know if you have any comments on this, Kenny, but I'm excited to see how it's going to be integrated into the larger Marvel universe. I don't know if maybe they view it as a flop and they'll try to like take steps back from it.
Well, it depends on if they're going to give it the Fantastic Four kind of treatment, where they're just going to kind of quietly shove it under a rug until somebody decides to throw more money at it.
I think that's probably the most likely scenario.
That's probably the most likely. There's not even that many eternal characters left alive by the end of that film.
It's true. Spoiler alert, Kyle.
Spoilers.
All right, I just did some research on my phone.
Okay.
Y'all ready for this?
Oh gosh, probably not, but go ahead.
So the Eternals score for IMDb got 6.3 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes at 47%.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
Jurassic Park, World Dominion
Oh, that's
got a
Jurassic Park.
5.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park World Dominion has fucking dinosaurs.
That's your only
They're
argument?
cool. That's my only argument.
Okay. I just wanted to point that out.
Hey, listen, I know that's probably the less popular decision that Eternals is worse than Jurassic Park World Dominion. I'm not trying to make the case that Jurassic Park World Dominion was a good movie. Like, my case was it's a blockbuster movie. You gotta go see it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be any good. And for me, Eternals was so... It was just so crammed and...
It wasn't given enough
Jumped
time
around
to
and-
breathe. How long was that film? Do you remember? Was it like a 2-hour
No,
sort of thing? Like a
Probably was.
I don't remember.
118 minutes or whatever?
Here's a good way to put it for you, Colin. I went into Jurassic Park World Dominion with low expectations, but I did not do that with Eternals. So when it was such a big flop for me, I was even more disappointed. Because I don't know. I went into Jurassic Park World Dominion just knowing it's a cash grab. It's not gonna be very good. It's gonna be the same plot. Like they're gonna try their best to throw some new dinosaurs in, which would be cool
Try to
and
throw
fun.
the dinosaurs in, do some more weird engine stuff.
But the
try
bar
to-
was low.
Try to wrap it up with a low bar. That's another one of those weird moments where it's the end of the series for the foreseeable future, at least.
Yeah. But we're here to talk Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is nerd.
What made you not finish the movie? Like, what made you just lack of time? You got busy, or
No, I lost interest. I don't remember where I left off. I couldn't tell you, but I was just like, oh my God, this is terrible acting. Like, what is going on? I'm so confused. Numerous things.
Yeah, there was confusing parts.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I was convinced over the weekend to give it another shot, so I'm going to do that. And I'll give you a actual synopsis of how I feel later.
Now, if I can move on, unless you have any more thoughts on Eternals, Kenny.
Well, I do have, I guess, a thought that might tie into Eternals, but I want to gauge your all's kind of thought process here. So, what do you think impacts a film more in terms of like how good or bad it is? Is it the acting? Is it the screenplay? Is it like the special effects? Like, what is the turnoff for you all?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
All right, I'll take this question head on first. So for me, what catches my attention right off the bat is that intro. How do they do the intro? Is there a good score leading into it? Is there some impactful event, scenario, something to that effect going on right in the beginning? Or is it just slow character build up? I mean, sure, that's pretty much every film, but what it boils down to me is, I guess, a score in the beginning. If they got a good score in the beginning, whether it's orchestrated in the studio or they're using a band or artist as a intro, whatever, but that definitely catches my attention.
Okay. Jake, you need another second?
No, you're gonna hate my answer, Kenny, but I think it's a little bit of everything for me. I think the biggest aspect for me, it needs to have a good mixture of like the plot. So what I mean by that is like it needs to have some good action, it needs to have some good comedic relief, it needs to have a good backstory. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's probably the most important aspect for me.
Sure.
I would say as time goes on and you can tell like the difference between the visualizations of like certain movies compared to others, like you can definitely tell the difference between certain Disney movies. Like a good example is is it Black Widow? Is that the
Black Widow.
Yeah, like I was
Scarlett
watching.
Johansson.
Yeah, I was watching that movie. You just tell it was like, oh my god.
You can kind of tell when they themselves know that the film's not going to do well, so they don't
Yeah.
even push it as hard as the other ones.
Yeah,
do,
so they can
right?
kind of like they have this feeling that it's not gonna be that big hit, so let's not
Yeah.
blow the budget on whatever it is,
Now-
visual effects.
The one exception to that rule is always going to be Deadpool. Like Ryan Reynolds just drug that character from a film with no budget to speak of and like almost like quadrupled like it's gross.
Yeah.
It's kind of absurd.
Well, and that probably leads me to my third point. It's like the casting. Like if you cast the right individuals, I think that can make or break. Deadpool's a perfect example of that. Like, would Deadpool be as successful without Ryan Reynolds?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, he has gone on record saying that that was the role he always wanted to do. And when they did him dirty in the Wolverine film, when he played the weird Deadpool with his mouth sewn shut.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that one either, and neither does he, funny enough.
So I have a interesting kind of point I would like to make. So help me clear this up real quick.
Sure.
In the beginning of the film, I can't remember which film it is, where the Winter Soldier is riding the motorcycle and he's going after Howard Stark and his wife, and he ends up killing him.
Civil War.
That's Civil War. That's the beginning of Civil War?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that kind of scenario where something is going on when it takes place in the past, future, whatever, and then they cut off to something else, and then they revisit that scene later in the movie. That kind of stuff I enjoy. And like you were talking about Deadpool earlier, in the first Deadpool, they have him sitting like on the bridge and the highway.
Mm-hmm.
and they do that whole spiel, whatever, and then
Just
they
hanging
cut
out
off to
doing his
something
thing.
else, but they revisit that scene later in the movie. So that kind of stuff to me, I feel like it's pretty cool.
Oh, so you're a sucker for the. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah, I see what you did there. I understood that reference. Totally off topic, but kind of
Sure.
not really.
So I guess to wrap up that line of thought, and then we'll go to, I guess, wherever Jake was trying to go before I derailed it. My thing is that if the screenwriting is kind of bad, if the characters don't make sense in what they're doing in the film, then that's going to be the turnoff. While it's not a Marvel film, my most recent memory of this being like really evident was in the Black Adam film. I don't know if either of you two have seen it.
I haven't seen it. That's on my list.
I've seen parts of it.
Okay, so there's a hero called Hawkman in it, and he's constantly trying to pick a fight with Black Adam.
Yeah.
And every time he does, he loses horribly. But he keeps doing it over and over again, thinking that the results are somehow going to change.
Isn't that the
Insanity.
definition of insane?
Yes.
Insanity?
One of them, at least.
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah. But
I get that a lot at
the
work.
thing is the thing is that Hawkman as a character is smarter than that, than how he was written. So the writers kind of made him look like an idiot. Now, I'm not going to throw shade to the actors here because I forget his actor's name, but all the acting in that film is great. It's just that they're poorly written.
Interesting. Okay. I'm definitely still gonna give it a watch, amongst other things.
Yeah. So Jake, I know I kind of sidelined you there. What was your thought before I went on that tangent?
Oh, that's scary. Jake having thoughts. No, I just want to like air out pet peeves, I guess. So I wanted to get Colin riled up a little bit too. The other pet peeve I mentioned, which was on when I was thinking like, all right, what are my 3 least favorite Marvel films? Eternals is definitely like the bottom of my list. Another one was the most recent Thor, like the Love and Thunder. There's parts of it I absolutely loved. Like I like the music. Music's good.
It was just emotionally and tonally, well, tone deaf.
Yeah, like there was just parts of the plot. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting annoying and like emotional roller coaster ride.
Yes. So as Colin likes to make fun of me, I did go see this on a Tuesday matinee with one other person in the theater, and both of us just left that theater in silence. Like we were just dumbfounded by like what we had just watched and
Hey,
how
if you
kind
leave
of
a
bad
theater
it was.
within like the first couple minutes, you can get your money back. I've done it.
Which movie?
But here's the thing:
Which movie?
I had to do the research for the podcast, man.
Now it's been a while, but the last movie that I did, oh god, it's been years. What was that film called? I don't know. It's the film that like you, me, and a bunch of others went and saw. I think, and it's
Tom Cruise film?
no. It's where
I don't know. I picked some really bad ones.
A girl eats a shit pie.
What?
Shut up! I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Somebody's gonna figure out what this film is. But anyway, that film, I like made it 5 minutes in. I was like, I can't watch this, and I walked out. It's not at all nerddom related. It's some other film.
But where I was going with Love and Thunder was it became like I'm a big fan of a good mixture, as I mentioned, like plot and action and comedic relief. But it became just so like stupid comedic relief. Like when the screaming goats showed up, and like I think there's some aspect of like the comic books, like where there's like the goats
That's
or
also
whatever. But
some Norse mythology at play there.
Yeah.
Now, the
But like it was just so
screaming goats
fucking
are...
annoying to me. I'm like, this is just I don't know. Like I guess they were trying to play toward like Chris Hemsworth's more his personality and like what he's more natural at, as opposed to like the start of the Thor. Like the very first Thor, they tried to make him more like
They made him more serious and
more
kind of brooding.
serious.
But
And
honestly, that was his higher rated film outside of Ragnarok.
Okay,
And they
pause.
just let him-
Okay, pause real quick. The film was actually called The Help. Just saying, it came out in 2011. Anyway, back to Thor. I agree with something you all said. So the first Thor, you kind of get that feeling that he's being raised to take the throne, but he doesn't want it himself, and you kind of get like a comedic but slash serious Thor. But I feel like that transition throughout the other films into serious to funny, back to serious to PTSD from killing Thanos and him taking all the weight of the world onto himself because he failed everybody, to him getting fat. And I feel like that connection was poorly made. Like they kind of made fun of it later, and it was just like, yeah.
So
I think Ragnarok's my favorite one. I think they had a
Yeah.
perfect balance with it. They had some good action and good plot, but then they had some really nice comedic relief in between there. But then Love and Thunder was just like went off the rails, man.
Right.
It was just stupid. It was just dumb.
well, the thing that I think Thor
Besides Christian
One
Bale,
did.
he was good.
the best is that it was comedic while not actually trying to be like humorous, right? Like it's funny in the sense of, oh, look at this foreign guy not know how humans work.
Yeah.
It's just like, waitress, I need another, and he just slams the glass on the ground.
Yeah. Yep.
Great scene.
You know, one of these
Very
days I'm
awkward,
actually
though.
going to do that in a restaurant.
I've always wanted to do that too.
I'll take another.
Yeah, go at a bar or something. I don't go to bars anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I leave that to the freaking preteens and 21-year-olds, you know. But maybe just to make somebody's night that is there for their 21st birthday, I'm just gonna throw down a glass or something. Like everybody's gonna get out their phones. Like, oh, did you see that? No.
No. But that's how that film was funny to me. It's just like, oh, look at foreign guy not know how people work. And that's comical. But then like Love and Thunder is trying to force the humor.
Yeah,
And
it
didn't work out.
It feels very forced.
Yeah.
How about you, Kenny? Any movies that just stand out to you that you didn't care for? You would never watch it ever again?
So one thing that I probably want to go back to watch are, I guess, really any of the Hulk films. Well, maybe except for the one that came out in 2003. The 2003 one was kind of stupid fun. Like, it didn't need to be good.
So we're talking Eric Bana, Edward Norton films,
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Edward Norton was 2008.
right? So right. Those are two actors that were in it that were the previous Hulks. And now it's
Yeah. Now you have
What
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Buffalo.
Sure. But those films didn't really hit a mark.
Get it, Mark?
Yes, but
Oh, they found the mark.
I don't know if I am able to put this in words necessarily, but that film was probably like the most low mid film that I can think of that it wasn't even memorable enough for me to hate it, right? Like I
That's how I
was
put
thinking
Thor-
about like, okay, what, like if I were to make like a top 5, lowest 5 list, whatever.
I put like Thor Dark World up there. It's like I don't remember enough of it. Like none of it
Yeah.
kind of stands out. Like
Like,
I don't
it
remember it
did-
being
nothing-
horrible, but I remember it
nothing
being good.
hit
It's just
the
there.
mark in that film at all. Like nothing really made me want to go watch it again. Like they say, like the Hulk smash, but that's what every Hulk says. So it just ends up being kind of meh. I do appreciate that She-Hulk tries to bring light to that film by bringing back Emil Blonsky. and
Yeah, we
a
kinda
handful
talked-
of the different references of being like, oh, I'm not even the same person anymore. So like, that they're self-aware and they know it. Some people still remember that film, but I honestly don't remember much of it.
Yeah, they're just trying to do like the what am I trying to say? The multiverse.
Sure.
I think that's where they're inevitably going. It's
Yeah.
like this is that universe, and then the other universe was
Yeah.
actually this actor, character, whatever. Like I understand what that's all about, and I kind of think that's interesting. But at the same time, right now where we are in the phases, if you will,
Right.
I think it's fair to say that most of us nerds are confused and have a lot of questions.
Confused, have a lot of questions, and just quietly waiting for Kang to show up.
Which is another thing. How's that gonna go?
Good, hopefully, but you don't have
I'm
too many
guessing
of
New
the.
York City's fucked. That's what I'm guessing.
I mean, it always is. We've established that.
Colin, how about you? Same question to you. Any
Yeah.
Marvel movie that just stands out to you? You never watch again? Was horrible. I guess it could be
Maybe
series
not even
too.
horrible. Just something that you would not want to devote time to again.
Yeah, horrible's a little harsh. That's a good way to put it, Kenny. You just would never want to watch it again.
Probably Iron Man 3.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Iron Man 3 definitely is the first thing that comes to mind. That film was just trash.
I dislike the ending.
I just like the entire film.
Did you?
Yeah, like
Well,
and then
yeah.
I couldn't give a fuck less about that timeline or storyline, however you want to put it.
Yeah. So you know what they did wrong that pissed off a lot of people in that film, Jake?
No.
So are you aware of a character called the Mandarin?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, from that film.
Yes, from that film. Now, did you watch Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so the Mandarin is
Yeah.
supposed to be the one that has the 10 rings.
Yes.
And that's what people were expecting when that film came out.
Oh, that's awkward. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, off topic but on topic, that was a good film.
Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
liked
good.
it.
Very
That was good.
underrated.
Underrated.
Great
yeah.
choreography. It needed to. I mean, it's a, martial arts film at its core, right?
I would definitely put that in my top 10 for sure of best MCU films. And I
Yeah.
kind of think about it, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Top 10 for sure.
Fair enough.
Have you all seen the new Bad Batch? No, Jake hasn't seen the new Bad Batch. But there's a new season of the Bad Batch out now, and they're doing it on Wednesdays. Just saying.
All right.
You need to watch it, but it wouldn't make sense to you, Jake, if you haven't seen the previous season as well as like the Clone Wars and Rebels and all that stuff. So it's definitely those 3 series you need to add to your list because it's so good. Childish, but the storyline is on point. I'm excited for where this is going to end up going.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, I recently got around to watching Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, damn, Ahsoka, I see you. Like, you can't even speak words and you're doing stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
Like, you see, like, the first... I'm speaking mostly of the first 2 episodes here to probably not... Hopefully not spoil Jake too much because I think he'll like those a bit more because they're kind of like short episodes. They're like 15 minutes long. Ish,
yeah.
But it's like you get to see like the beginnings of the different Jedi,
Younger versions of
younger versions of people, like younger Qui-Gon, younger Dooku.
Dude, it's pretty.
You see Dooku, like maybe his first instance of like snapping and like force choking a bitch.
You do see that happening.
And it was just really well put together. I was very surprised and happy about it.
Yeah,
So,
and they're coming out with another one. I forget what it's called, but I think it's a younger Or is it the same? No, it's still the same. There's going to be a season 2, basically,
Yeah.
or more episodes. But
I
anyway,
think they're going to expand on it
yeah,
a bit more.
I'm excited for that.
So yeah, maybe they'll touch on like some of the Sith characters. That'd be fun. Like instead of Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith.
I mean, this year they're coming out with all kinds of new series for the Star Wars universe. So you got like the Skeleton Crew, you got, like I said, the Bad Batch, and a bunch of other series. So I'm looking forward to this year and what series comes out.
Was Andor Part 2 coming out this year?
No,
No.
they're currently filming that at the moment. So it probably won't be until 24.
Okay.
But one thing I do want to talk about,
Sure.
since we're just shooting the shit, how do you all feel about this next phase of all the movies that are now coming out? And if you want to bring up on the computer, Kenny, what movies are coming out for this next phase, I'm down to shoot the shit with that.
So I think the only film that I can remember off the top of my head, which I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign, is that Quantum Mania is probably the one that I'm most looking forward to, and then
Yeah, it's pretty good.
then wherever we're at with Kang and his all stuff. Is Secret Wars this year?
Yes.
Secret Wars is this year. Okay.
So we're going to be reintroduced to Samuel L. Jackson and the Skrulls and that series and a bunch of other stuff. That's actually one thing that I'm extremely excited about, is how the Skrulls are going to take over the Earth, if you will, or if that's the case at all.
Yeah.
Freaking love Loki. So Loki season 2 is coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That's gonna be good.
Yeah. What If? Did you all watch any of the
I
What If
did watch
stuff?
What If. I very much enjoyed.
Yeah. So that should be fun. I am interested on some of the, I guess, Disney Plus series that they're coming out. With Agatha in particular.
Sure.
I hope that they do magic well again.
Yeah.
They've been killing it so far with Doctor Strange. Hopefully they keep going.
The multiverse?
I guess just how they kind of like visually represent it all. Like, I guess less like writing and more aesthetic.
Sure. Multiverse for me, I enjoyed it, but I definitely have some questions, but obviously they have to be answered with these future series and films coming out, so
Good deal. I do know that we're going to be introduced to Kamala Khan, which, if you're not familiar who that character is, that is Miss Marvel.
Yep.
As opposed to Captain Marvel. And her big deal is that she can she's like a weird mixture of like Ant-Man, in a sense that she can like grow in size, and Mr. Fantastic, where she's like rubbery in a sense, and she can stretch and do all this and that. So that should be interesting to see how they portray that character. Kamala Khan, historically, I believe, is an Indian American character typically portrayed. So that's going to be some fun inclusion there. Other than that, I guess we really just have the Thunderbolts and New World Order for Captain America coming out.
That'd be good. I like Anthony Mackie.
Yeah. Thunderbolts is going to kind of hopefully not be a Suicide Squad.
No, you know what? Now that you say that, that's exactly what it's going to end up being.
You think?
I can't believe I've never thought of it like that before. Now that you say that, that makes so.
It's
This
like-
is
Yeah.
Storyline wise, they're not like criminals; they're anti-heroes.
yeah.
But
My mind just got blown.
Like Suicide Squad, which I have my doubts.
God, Suicide Squad, I freaking hated. I'll be honest with you, that was a terrible
Yeah.
film.
I think,
Cool characters, but
yeah.
once again, DC doesn't know how to do shit.
Well, hopefully now that Snyder is kind of slowly like reigning in control, he'll actually like realize like what's working and what's not, and make a good series of films instead of just letting all their actors go. Like, you know, I appreciate Henry Cavill and all his work as Superman, but I don't think he's going to end up staying around too much longer, aside from what he's already filmed.
Can you think of anybody that would be a good replacement to play Superman?
Some new person that I don't know about.
Okay, I was just wondering if you had anybody in mind. I don't have anybody in mind, but
can't picture any person with a clean-cut, strong jaw
physique.
that could work for Superman. You might cast like the main like anti-hero from the one Amazon series that has like heroes and powers and whatnot. Do you remember what that was called? The Bad Boys?
Bad Boys, yeah.
Bad Boys, yeah. That main guy. Homelander, there we go. Cast that guy.
Interesting.
I mean, he kind of already plays that character. Like, that's what his particular
Maybe.
I guess character
Probably
type
not.
is. But
We'll let the people that are worth more than us make that decision. Maybe I should be Superman.
I mean, you'd have to shave. Because I think the only time that you ever see Superman with a beard is like he's like 40,000 years old. Like,
I feel that way sometimes, honestly. Doing
yeah,
physical activity, I feel that very much.
I don't know, man. I wake up and my knees crack, and I just decide to hop back in bed.
Yeah, I feel that 100%.
Oh Lord, we're starting to go all over the place. Jake, do you have any closing thoughts here?
Yeah, the Eternals suck. That's all I got.
All right. He has. We'll listen back in the episode. So how about you, Colin? Where do you think we're at?
I think that kind of wraps it up for us here. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram at Derby City Fandom. Give us a follow and a like. And if you are willing and able, feel free to add a comment.
Yeah.
See if
Maybe give us an episode suggestion. We'll cover it if
yeah.
if it makes sense.
That's all I got.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody, and we shall see you all next time.
See you, everybody.